Hello, everyone. I'm Pia Renada. Joining us today is Elmer Arganio, and he is the Secretary General of I Am Pilipinas, or Ikaw Muna Pilipinas movement, a volunteer group that is helping the campaign team of Isko Moreno for his presidential bid. And ngayon nga, mayroong interesting develop in the Visayas kasi earlier this morning, there was a Visayas chapter of I Am Pilipinas which declared that it would be switching its support to Vice President Leni Robredo. So we have with us Elmer to explain ano ba yung nangyayari dito, and can you just maybe clarify to us what the developments in the Visayas mean for your group as a whole?
Yeah, thank you, Pia, and good afternoon to all the viewers and followers of Rappler. What happened this morning in Visayas, particularly the one held in Cebu this morning, is I suppose part of the natural dynamics of a volunteer organization that's into election campaign. Uh, yes, we got it from the news that our network in Visayas, our chapter there, has decided already to take another journey. Um, I would say we have an inkling of some sort that this is coming, although we didn't expect that it will be this soon and in this form.
So, sinabihan ba kayo in advance na yun yung gagawin nila today?
Well, what we got from the chapter is that early on, actually hindi lang naman last week yan or what. There have been serious concerns on the ground as far as our organization is concerned on how the political developments are evolving and what they feel on the ground. So and then they were saying that hindi nagbabago, parang matigas pa rin yung supporters ni Marcos Jr. And then we have Vice President Lenny taking the second slot, and we are stuck in most of the polls and the opinion at the far third. So yun nga, they're bringing that up, and what should we do? And the consensus that they are putting forward is we cannot allow the return of the country to its darkest past, much more this time represented by an incompetent, a tax evader, and one with checkered background in the person of the junior. So that was raised to us, but yun na nga, we felt that there are serious developments that we have to seriously look into and take
Mm.
into account.
So does this mean that I Am Pilipinas, as a nationwide group, will you also be switching to Leni Robredo?
Uh, you see, it's when I talked to Nick and he brought the concern. It's more than the issue of sticking to one candidate or holding our necks down the line to what we have decided for. This is about what's best for the country, what's best for all of us, and the common denominator really is how do we avert the resurrection of the Marcoses having been dumped by history and ostracized by the world. And that's the main concern that is being put forward. As to your question, if we are going to join the national, we are, as I said, we are seriously looking into these developments. And like any democratic organization, a volunteer organization for that matter, we have to take into full account the sentiments of our ground volunteers.
Mhm. So when you say looking at the survey numbers, no, you're referring to the February Pulse Asia survey, or are you referring to your own internal surveys? What makes you convinced that it will be a Lenny versus Marcos, or it should be a Lenny versus Marcos race? When kasi marami pang pwede magbago, di ba? Like if you ask the campaign teams, they're all saying Hindi pa tapos ang laban until May 9. Things could still change. If you look at Isko and Lenny's numbers, they're not that far apart. Whereas talagang yung si Marcos and the rest of the candidates, yun yung talagang malaki yung agwat. But some are saying na it's still possible na Isko could go number 2. So what happens then?
Yeah, we agree. I personally agree that anything may happen, but since we are working based on data, based
Mm.
on the sentiments of the people that we gather across the country. It's not just like the polls PIA, it's
Mm.
because there are several versions that come out, but looking at the historical pattern in not
Mm.
only the February, and yun na nga yung feedback from the ground, and kasi I cannot blame Nick really because they are exposed to everyday interaction with different groups. So
Mm.
alam nila and nararamdaman nila. So I think yun eh. It's difficult, but for us to be effective and to ensure that yun na nga, we will not for us to ensure that we will not let our country go back in time, we have to acknowledge and face the reality.
Mm. When you say nararamdaman nila, naririnig nila from the ground, what is exactly that sentiment that they're getting? Sina the Visayas chapter, for example.
Well, the number one thing that we've been hearing is that the apparent tide of the spontaneous movement, the popular support of is leaning towards the vice president, and that is important in any campaign. That I think it cannot be debunked because it's about ano Pia, like in many political battles that I've joined and I've encountered, um, pag ang tao na ang gumagalaw on their own, kahit marami kang pera yung kalaban mo, mahirap kang talunin dahil they have to pay for everything. While the other group naman, they're not spending any because it's already the people doing the job. And yun yung sa tingin ko isang aspeto na that I personally is looking into, because yun yung to me that will determine how the entire population, the many undecided, those who we consider as soft voters, may shift kung saan nandun yung tide, no. And of course, yun na nga, since aksyon naman is not that strong, thanks to Mayor Isko, that it grew exponentially, but still it's far from covering the entire country to secure the votes come election day. So imagine the extent of mobilization necessary to cover the 400,000 or so clustered precincts. So these are issues that I believe, should be looked into, and our group will seriously consider and take into account.
You don't see that kind of groundswell support, popular support that you're noticing around VP Lenny, around Isko Moreno?
Alam mo, Pia, I don't know if you've tracked us. We've been with Mayor Isko from day one when every group was not yet around, and we helped convince him to run for presidency. Siguro yung extent that we have got done apparently is not yet that good enough to decisively uh, affect a huge dent or blow to Marcos Jr.
Mm. So this split or this decision to change tactics and go for na lang the second place or whoever this may be, does this have anything to do with any enmity between IM Pilipinas and the national campaign team of Isko Moreno?
Well, hindi naman, I would not say that animosity, because kami, we are a volunteer group. Nobody, we did not seek the permission of Mayor Isko when we started this. We are running this. We are looking for our own resources, our time and energy. So we are not in the position really to say na, hey guys, you're not doing it right or whatever or ganito and whatnot. There's no animosity really. It's all we can do is probably lend our hand, make suggestions, but end of day it's the campaign team of Mayor Isko who calls the shots and decides where to bring this campaign.
Mm. May talk din kasi, although unverified, that this might have something to do with funding being cut from your group. Is that true in any way?
Well, again, from day one until today, as we speak, we have not sought any funding. We have been moving, and with all humility, probably alam ng lahat, lalo na ng campaign, what we have done, and kami on our own, hanap dito, kaibigan dyan, our own time, yun na nga, the mere fact that we have stopped looking for other productive means during the campaign is, I think, more than enough because we believe. No, make no mistake about it, ano, Pia, that pound for pound, we still believe that Mayor Isko has the best platform, etc. It only, ang problema natin, after the fact, we know history is replete with cases that many good candidates should have been the ones in power, but hindi ganun eh. Hindi ganun ang nangyayari. So, and sadly, marami hindi na nanalo. So, it's more than the issue of having a good platform that will determine who will be the next leaders of our country.
Aren't you concerned that parang this might seem like you're abandoning your principal, like Isko Moreno? I mean, isn't this kind of like feeding him to the wolves and leaving him more exposed and vulnerable and hurting
Again,
his
ano,
campaign?
uh, I am not in a position. Any of us, the national, are not in the position to say bad words with our Visayas counterparts because again we are volunteer organizations. We unite under one cause and nobody is being paid by anybody. So uh, and at the end of the day, it's the decision of each one of us. Now, in the issue of abandoning, ako nga sasabi ko, if at all we find
Mm.
merit on the need that we align and unite under one potential formidable candidate to defeat Marcos Jr., this is no longer about the issue of personalities, loyalty to a particular candidate or person. This is what is best for our country and our people to move forward and not backwards. No, that's the saddest part. That yun na nga, whatever potion that Marcos Jr. splashed on the people, it's as simple as that. They refer to the past as the glory days when we should easily move forward. Whatever faults the succeeding administrations inflicted upon our country, it does not give us the right to go back, but rather we should move forward. And that's how things should be, progress and development.
Mm. Have you spoken to Mayor Isko Moreno himself about your call for unification and yun nga, your plan to go with the second placer? Or have you at least tried to talk to him about it?
Well, that's the agenda that I think Tim and other volunteer organization leaders want to bring up. It's not really it's more or less a call to unite and come to terms with reality that hey guys, kumbaga maglalaban-laban tayo dito sa ilalim, itong isa natatawa. Forget about whatever issues, concerns, personal motivations. This is about, do we allow a return to the past? That's the biggest question. And as we look at the data, Yun na nga, you confirm that, PI. Marcos is far up there, and then the two and the rest are at the lower pit of the battle. So it's not about personalities anymore, but what is good for the country. No.
Mm. Last few questions na lang, Elmer, about the unity talks that you're pushing. How successful do you think these talks will be if the first round failed, yung 2021?
Siguro, if finally all these well-meaning candidates, I would say at least apat sa kanila agreed, even on the issue of pushing government and the Marcoses to pay their arrears with the government in the real estate tax, which has been there for over 30 years. Merong ground for possible unity, and we are clinging in that small window, hopefully, that our leaders will come to terms to reality and shed off whatever pride, ego, or considerations they may have, and put to premium value the interest of the country, which is, I think, a one historic and heroic act for all of them. It's not about kung sino ba talaga ang pwedeng lumaban. Magkasundo tayo, and then probably maraming matutuwa, and it will be a great favor to the country.
Mm. Kasi si Tim Orbos, who I was speaking with earlier today, was saying that the talks could go in two ways. Either, if the surveys show that there is just one presidential bet who has a big chance of winning against Marcos, then everyone should withdraw and let that person run and support that person. But if neck to neck sila, yung mga uh, anti-Marcos forces or non-Marcos forces, then ano na lang, unite in terms of criticizing Marcos. So just don't criticize each other. Don't take swipes at each other. Just aim your bullets at Marcos, and you won't waste your bullets on each other. So, but then those are two very different proposals. In terms of yung withdrawal, for example, Vice President Lenny Robredo was the one who rejected Senator Lacson's earlier proposal, similar to that, na 'di ba, parang okay, we all declare our presidential bids. If the numbers show that one person is lamang, mag-withdraw yung iba. Si VP Lenny rejected that outright. She said that no, once we declare our bids, we should stick to it to the very end kasi our volunteers will be, parang counting on us to, 'di ba, to continue the fight. So, how would you convince her or even the others to return to unity talks when nagsabi na siya ng ganun?
Siguro yun naman yung magiging apila namin kahit kay Vice President Lenny. Alam naman natin, whatever issues hurled against her, gumampan naman siya ng maayos, maganda naman ang layunin niya. This time around, baka pwedeng may second look tayong lahat. And apparently, there are room and windows that this may happen. Wag lang umandar yung ego at pride. Look, sa amin, I know the pain that Nick undergoes today and the days to come. But sabi nga, I am looking at the transcript of his interviews. Nag-ubos siya ng oras niya sa panahon ng kabataan niya, and he cannot allow. So sa view niya, it's Vice President Lenny. So we have to get that consensus and really look at how things will develop. But ayun lang ang hiling namin siguro. Ako personally, I like the idea that we have to work together. All the non-Marcos forces should rally under one banner. Kahit sandali lang, hawakan natin yung interest ng bayan. Kahit na pangatawanan lang for this purpose. Otherwise, my fearless forecast, game is over kapag hindi sila nagkasundo.
In the case naman of Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, meron ring trust issues din kasi in his camp, I believe that they got up the perception in the 2021 Unity Talks that si Vice President Lenny Robredo was ready to support them, and then they were surprised daw when she declared her presidential bid. So parang certain people around the mayor don't really trust the VP's people anymore either. So what makes you think that he would return to the Unity Talks table to discuss it anew?
well, ano yun eh, it's as simple as this, ano eh, it's their word against theirs and vice versa. But end of day, that's their version of different camps. I'm sure the other camps will have their own version, but uh, yun nga eh, yung tanggalin dapat yung biases eh, kasi otherwise, unless there are some guys who are open to the idea that they'd rather have Marcos be the next president than anyone else from those that are fighting or have stood against Marcos. That's another problem. And I cannot sit with that, and I cannot allow that if that is the track. No, hopefully hindi naman, at yun na nga, may mga nagkaroon lang ng mga kanya-kanyang biases, and then they have their own strategies eh, um, to begin with. So we expect na different stories will come out. But again, hopefully it's their conscience, it's what's good for the country that should rule their minds and hearts.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much, Elmer, for your insights. Rest assured, we are continuing to cover the campaign 2022 elections, which will be happening in May. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Pierre Nada. Goodbye.